Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Code Switch in 2020. Today we continue with our biology lesson, looking at the concept of phylogeny. So we are also going to try to use analogy to make the concept easier for one to understand. So if you are new to the concept of biology, phylogeny, here we are going to make it easy for you to understand. So phylogeny, we are also saying, is the family tree of life. So without any waste of time, let's start. What is phylogeny? Phylogeny is the study of how living things are related through evolution. It shows how species have changed over time and how they share a common ancestors. Think of it like a family tree. But instead of tracing your grandparents and cousins, you are tracing how animals, plants, and other organisms are connected. Why do we study phylogeny? To understand how species evolved, to see relationships between different organisms, to discover common ancestors, to learn why some species are similar, they may have a shared history, to help with classification in biology. It helps scientists to make sense of the living world and how it's all connected. How will a beginner understand phylogeny from a common ancestor? Let's use a real life example. Imagine you and your cousin. You both look a bit alike because you have a shared grandparent. Now, let's say a cat and a lion. Both have sharp teeth and similar faces. They look alike because they have a common ancestor from millions of years ago. That ancestor isn't around anymore, but both species inherited traits from it. In phylogeny, we draw this relationship in a tree diagram called phylogenetic tree. Each branch point represents a common ancestor. Easy analogy for a beginner. Think of a tree. The roots are ancient ancestors. The trunk is the common history. The branches are different species. The closer two branches are, the more related they are. Number 1. Concept of common ancestry. All living organisms are believed to have descended from a common ancestor. Species that share a more recent common ancestor are more closely related than those whose common ancestors is further in the past. For example, humans and chimpanzees share a more recent common ancestors than humans and frogs. This shared ancestry is the basis for constructing a phylogenetic tree, which is like a family tree showing evolutionary relationship. So where do we get the sources of data for determining phylogeny? Here are our sources. Number 1, morphological data. Studying physical structures and features, bones, teeth, organs. Similar structures like forelimbs in birds, humans, and whales suggest a common ancestor. Molecular data, DNA, RNA, and protein. The more similar the genetic sequence, the more closely related the organism. DNA sequencing is now one of the most accurate ways to determine relationships. Fossils records. Fossils provide clues about extinct species and transitional forms. Helps track how traits evolved over time. Embryological evidence. Early developmental stages of different species often show striking similarities, suggest common ancestry. Building a phylogenetic tree. So, a phylogenetic tree or cladogram is a diagram showing evolutionary relationships. Branches represent lineages evolving over time. Nodes, points where a single lineage splits, represent a common ancestor. Root, the most recent common ancestor of all species in the tree. Scientists use cladistics to group organisms by shared derived characteristics, traits that appear in recent ancestors but not older ones. Examples: vertebrate evolution, fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. As you move along the tree, traits like jaws, lungs, amniotic egg, and fur appear. Each branching point reflects the appearance of a new trait and a new evolutionary lineage. In summary, phylogeny shows evolutionary relationship through common ancestors. It is determined using morphology, molecular data, fossils, and embryology. Phylogenetic trees are visual tools that illustrate these relationships. The more characteristics two species share, the more recent their common ancestors likely is. That wasn't the end of the lesson. So let's break down what is phylogeny in simple terms with real life analogy to make it super easy to understand. So we ask the question again, what is phylogeny in simple terms? Phylogeny is like figuring out a big family tree of all living things. Who is related to who and how closely they are related. It is based on the idea that all life comes from a common starting point, and over time, different species branched out from each other. Outcomes of studying phylogeny in simple terms: we learn which species are closely related, like discovering that cats and lions are cousins. We understand how living things change over time, like tracing how old mobile phones slowly change into smartphones. We group living things better, like organizing clothes by type, shirts with shirts, jeans with jeans, based on shared features. We find the missing link in evolution, like finding old baby photos that shows how someone's face changed as they grew up. Real life analogy, a family tree. Imagine your family tree. You and your siblings come from the same parents. You are closely related. Your cousin has a grandmother with you, still related but a bit less. You and a total stranger have great-great-grandparents from different countries, not closely related. Now imagine every animal, plant, microbe has a giant family tree like that. Scientists use clues like DNA, bones, feathers to figure out where each one fits in the tree. Example: human and monkey. Humans and monkey look similar because we share a common ancestor, like having a great grandparent in common. that ancestors lived a long time ago, and over time the two groups, human and monkey, change in different ways. Just like you and your cousin grow up in different towns and develop different habits but still share family traits. Final takeaway: studying phylogeny is like being a detective of life's history. It helps us understand where living things come from, how they are related, how they have changed over millions of years. It's like building the biggest, oldest family tree in the world. Thank you for watching. For more videos, please go to Code Switching 2020. And please comment and give me the feedback of the lesson. Thank you very much.